What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Core Conversations for Monday. Thank you for joining us. We're going to have quite the conversation today around our responses, which is the bigger situation. So thanks for joining us, and we're going to get this going right about now. PJ, features one, check the archives. All right. C's for greatness. What's going on? Shannon, how are you? Hi, Allison. Thank you for joining us. How was everyone's weekend? I had a great weekend. Oh, one more thing here. No, core conversations 12. So I just sent a few messages to a couple people here. So if you have any online classes, workouts, things along those lines that are coming up, I'd love to hear from you. Allison, where are you located? And hi, Daya. Thank you for joining us. This is loose here. There you go. Lots of interesting stuff happening in the Pilates world right now. So, love to have some of those people and some of those characters in the space to give it some context, give some color to it. So I don't want to really touch on it on too much of a specific level. But hi, Carrie, what's going on? Hi, Sarah. Thank you for joining us. Carrie, there's lots of fireworks this weekend. The week after the 4th of July and the fireworks are coming out. Crazy. Ignorant to your ignorance. And Sarah, where are you located? So many things I want to say. I'm just kind of like trying to find the words to unpack it. But Jean-Claude, how are you, my friend? And Phil. Jean-Claude, I saw some posts. Are you at a conference right now? Where are you? In Brazil, my friend. Amazing. If I wasn't in the city council campaign right now, I would have been at that conference. I would have been at a lot of conferences. So many great things are happening in our community, and it must be so amazing to be there and to just see the world opening up and just embracing again. So, Jean-Claude, if you have a moment and you want to join me on screen, give me a thumbs up. If you're busy right now, that's good too. But like, it looks like you're having great fun there. It's such a great opportunity to learn and just extend and just like reinforce all that we're learning here in the community. So such good stuff. Love it. I have to say too, while whether you can join us or not, I have a client right now that a new gentleman I've been working with, and I don't want to give his whole business online, but I just have to say that I'm really loving. Hey, I'm going to invite you, Jean-Claude, to come on with this gentleman. So Jean-Claude's going to join us here, and I'll tell you why when he joins us. Hello, my friend.
Hello. I don't know how good the connection is because I'm in the gym area of the hotel.
Nice.
Can you hear me well?
Good. Yeah, a bit of echo.
Oh,
it's
well.
an echo, but it's all good.
Perfect.
Nice.
So we just finished the conference. Today is the day of leaving, flying back to Germany.
Okay.
And it's been 3 days of craziness. Amazing, yeah.
Oh, awesome. What were you teaching?
What I was teaching? Lots of Pilates.
Just topic-wise, or like was there like a?
Yeah, of course. I mean, all kind of topics.
There we go.
Talking about what all I was teaching. I don't know. I was teaching extensions on the Wunder chair. I was teaching hands-on on the reformer. I was teaching building progressing somebody onto the reformer from basic into intermediate, individual needs on the reformer. I was mostly 3 workshops on the reformer, 1 workshop on the Wunder chair.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Everyone's just popping in here. Hi, everybody.
How are you?
Great. I'm doing well. Yeah. So I have like two things going on. Like the business, obviously, now that we're back into more space, like is growing and getting new people. And I was just starting to say before you showed up, most excited about this one-on-one that I'm still doing online, a virtual with a guy. And just see, like, he's a guy who does CrossFit, does like triathlons and golf, right? Just seeing how the Pilates is just making sense in his body, like 3 sessions in, like light bulbs, everything's just making sense for him. And it's just fun to watch someone like ask themselves, where was this my whole life? You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah. See how the Pilates seat, how it just, you drop it and then it just,
yes.
And it grows in there.
It grows.
Takes the roots and it connects to everything that person is doing.
Yes, absolutely. And so the challenge for him today was to take what we've learned so far and do what you can on your riding days. So as soon as you get off the bike, just get on the floor and just move and just put together as much of the work as you can remember. And I gave him like a basic mat so he could just flow through 100 roll up leg circle. And he's like, okay, got it. I'll do that every day in it. Like, you know what I mean? He's just like owning it.
Yeah, well, those are those motivated people, you know? This is the ones that have the motivation coming to you. And there's the other ones that you have to start the fire It takes a year or two sometimes to get the people that their own motivation starts kicking in.
Yes, exactly. So when I have guests on here and I ask them, who is your ideal client? You know, some of the ways that I ask that is, who would you train for free? If someone would walk in and you could just train them the rest of your life. Like this guy is someone that if, you know, just for even my own learning, I learn different cues and just approach it in different ways. I take so much out of this session that it really makes me come alive. So that is my cue for our Pilates people out there, is like, who is your ideal client? Who is the person that makes you come alive? And it just reinforces, like we talked about burnout in the past. Like, how do you keep yourself going? How do you keep yourself excited for the work and yourself committed to learning more? It's having people like that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There are some people where the balance between give and take is just right, you know? And then the more you give, the more you get.
Yes.
But sometimes it's one person you give a lot, but you get from another person.
Right.
So there is the universal justice in how energy is transmitted and received. So at the end, I think that's why I don't really think so much like of course, it's nice to have the person, but at the same time, then you have sometimes people where you know that they cannot give because they are in a state of despair or they're in a state of trauma, where you see that those are people they just need to get right now because they have been giving maybe a lot before, or they are just about to be giving a lot, so they need to be charged. And you give it to those people, and then maybe the day later or 2 days later, you get that client that will recharge you, you know? So sometimes we just have to be patient to get sometimes things back that we were sharing out. So I do believe still that it's all coming back. There's nothing, it's all coming back. Yes.
Absolutely.
And if you really believe it's not, then you have to move on. If you think a person is not that, then you just move on. You know, it's always the same thing, but it's difficult to differentiate. Yes.
Yeah.
And to make that decision.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, to make that decision, to have that conversation. How do you do that?
Yeah, it's not even a conversation, I think. It's just at some point you have to know when you have to know when to throw the towel. Yeah. Like, you know, if you're talking about a fight, a box fight, when you're done, or at least your coach should know. I mean, we don't have our coach with us in the corner who sees now it's time to throw the towel, because if we continue like that, you only take damage. So you have to be your own coach. And when you see you're taking strong hits and this is too much, this person is too much for you, you have to throw the towel, and that's all right. There's no lose. You can't lose. So that's great. Right. But it's a skill. You learn.
Yeah, exactly, right? Oh, yes, we learn.
Wonderful. I just wanted to, just get here a little easy stretching before taking the flight. And I just saw you online, so I wanted to have a little hook in. Just listening to you, actually. But thanks for inviting me and letting me share a few thoughts.
All right. Thank you. Enjoy your stretch. Safe flight home, and we'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Take care.
All right. Bye, take care.
Bye.
So work there. Hit the X in the corner, top right corner. There you go. All right, everybody. Thank you. Meryl, I saw you in the chat there. Are you still around? My other Germany Pilates person. Thank you to everyone who jumped in while Jean-Claude was on. Sounds like he had a fantastic workshop in Germany there. And that's an interesting conversation. And just to echo what was just said there, I was talking about how alive I felt with this new person and chasing after that. And then him, Jean-Claude, also bringing in the context of you give here and you may receive somewhere else. And there's that exchange that's happening, whether it's not directly with the person in front of you, but with someone else, just through the course of your day, your week, your month, right? And that's the beauty of this work when you're coming from a place of wanting to truly give and to empower people. So I love that you put that in, Jean-Claude. That's definitely a different perspective. Yes, Pilates Point Malta. Good to see you. So I like staying centered on that. How good is it to stay centered on that in our work that we do as we work with people day in, day out?
It's so fantastic. So, Meryl, good to see you as well. Let's stay in that vein. Um, that is, it's so funny. We put things in the grand scheme of things, the perspective of why are we here? What are we trying to achieve? This is a community. This is the fitness community. In the fitness community, this little corner is the Pilates community, a movement-based movement community. And all of us are trying to bottle what we just talked about a minute ago, whether you get an immediate gratification like I did this morning, or something that you see over the course of some period of time, like Jean-Claude mentioned. All of that is what we're trying to bottle. We're trying to change lives. We're trying to help people, help them feel good in their bodies, help them to move. At the same time, without being selfish, we're trying to do something that makes us come alive. Every one of us could be sitting at a desk just like entering data and making six figures, but we're not. We're here because this is something that scratches our itch. This is something that helps us while we're helping others. That is all that we're trying to do. The problem that we see is that sometimes our approaches are unsavory. I'm not going to get into some of the topics that happened over this weekend, but to say this, sometimes we miss the mark. And when we miss the mark, how do we respond? How do we respond when someone brings that to our attention? How do we respond when someone calls us out or calls us in or invites us into a dialogue? The topic for today is the response is the bigger story, because regardless of what the story is, you can sub in one story and sub on another. The thing that I always look for in any topic that comes up, how major or petty it is in our Pilates space or in any other conflict in the world per se, I always look at how people respond. I think about how I would respond. I think about how I like to think that I respond, but I also think about legitimately how people respond. And the reason why I say that is because the response is bigger than the story, because if I do something wrong, if I say something wrong, if I stand corrected, what do? Do I take the bait and let my ego step in and lash back at the person, people, group, or do I stop and listen? Like a little kid, stop, look, and listen. Do I take a step back and assess where I might have missed it, where they might be right, instead of just waiting and just screaming out and trying to be heard on my point? It's like a marriage. Like you can fight for your point all day long, or you can fight to make sure that other person is heard, and then go from a place of them being heard, and then take your piece of the ownership of it. I maybe stopped talking in code for some of you who didn't get a chance to see what's happening in our social media, and you know what, you're better not even knowing that. But I just want to talk at a high level of how we move forward in this space. If we are all after that same thing that Jean-Claude and I just talked about a moment ago, there are going to be some conflicts, but the conflicts should make us richer. We should come to a place where when we talk about these things, we can see where one another's coming from. I'm kind of sold, not really sold on the agree to disagree thing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But can you listen is the question. And when you listen, how do you respond? Do you take the bait of letting your ego get in the way, narcissism taking over, and feeling entitled to strike back because someone struck? Or do you step back, have a private conversation with the person who brought something to your attention, get their perspective on it, and then make your pivot? I was thinking about Muhammad Ali. And Muhammad Ali was a great fighter. He died a hero, right? Everyone respected him and all he did, standing up for war, winning his belts, changing his name, sharing his faith, all these different things. And he died as a hero. But what people forget is that he was a villain in his day. He was an absolute villain in his day. And there's a documentary where he talked about it. He actually relished in that place of being the villain because he knew that he could get more tickets if people would come to see if the bad guy could get taken down. Let's see if this fighter could knock off Ali. Let's see if this fighter can get Ali's belt. He knew that he would fill a stadium if people came to see if someone could beat the villain. So he played up the villain piece. He played up the bad guy piece because he knew that he wants someone to take him down. He wants someone to take him down. And no one could take him down until it was time for him to leave. Everyone loses at some point. So there's a sense of him understanding his role as a villain to draw people in. But the story changes as he gets older, as he moves further away from those moments. He changes his story. He starts to advocate for things. And now he dies a hero. He dies as someone who is respected. The point that I'm making with this story is that you could do something wrong today and everyone could be on you because you said it wrong, because you reacted wrong, because you canceled someone out, you got everyone against this person, you rallied your troops and you stomped this person down. All this stuff happens, but they could change their song. They can listen and make a pivot. They could do something and they can make it right. And the end of their story is different than this moment in time. And then it's back on you. What do you do with that person? Have you given that person the space to make change, or are they the villain for the rest of their life? Those are the things, and those are all the things that I think about. Do I condemn someone when they do something wrong, say something wrong? Absolutely. But I also, if I have some thread of a relationship with them, I'll reach out to them and say, what were you thinking? Have you reached out to the person? What are you going to do next? Your career is going to rise or fall on how you handle this moment. So you don't take the bait of lashing back out. You stop, you listen, you breathe, as Meryl said, and you wait. So there's our public service announcement for the next time that you mess up and everyone wants to cancel you out. Stop, look, listen, breathe, wait, and then make your next move. Anyone like to comment on that or share or join me on screen? You're more than welcome to do so. Meryl, I'm going to bring you on. Just, it doesn't work for you, then hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I thought I'd join in.
I'm so glad you did. Tammy, I think Tammy's saying observe. Sometimes there's typos there, so I'm guessing that she's saying observe.
Also on serve. Observe.
Yes. Okay, good. We got it. Yes. So I invite you to either talk at a high level about this, or you can get right down to the nitty gritty of what happened. It's your call. But I want to talk about it just generally speaking, like as
what happened this past days with this lady and the N-word and all of that. Yeah, that was quite, just popped up out of nowhere. And I don't know this person, I don't follow this person, but she was suddenly there and I was like, oh, it caught my attention because she knows a teacher that I met in Rome, who I admired, but I have had no contact with this woman in like, I don't know, 12 years. But any case, and I was like, oh, N-word. And I thought, okay, it's going to be something like against, don't do that, something like as an ally. This is what I thought initially. And then I continued to read the description and I was like, what? Stomach massage? N-word for stomach massage? What is that? That makes no sense to me. Nipples? What's wrong with saying nipple? Just say, put your chest forward, or I just thought it was a bit odd. And I was feeling a way about it. Like, this is not the way to cue people. No. So I wrote something. I made a comment. And then I went to my lovely sister. I was like, Sonia, I need your advice. I just saw this thing. What, I'm not sure really like how to do this because I don't do this online. I do it in my everyday life, but I've never had this experience of, commenting about that online. Anyway, this woman was just like ignoring what I wrote and then ignoring what Sonia wrote, and it was just like we don't exist basically, until Sonia wrote her personal message, and she responded like, I can write whatever I want, it's my thing. And I was like, well, yeah, but it would be great if you would have some consideration for the fact that the phrase, the N word, is not supposed to be used for a Pilates cue. Like, to me, it's a no-brainer, but I'm a Black person, So anyway, it was just very bizarre. And now it's down.
Yeah.
She took the phrase out without taking down the paragraph that she used. It's like, yeah, don't feel bad about saying the N word. Try it. I was like, what? It was just very odd. And yeah, I don't know. A lot of people are disconnected. I really can't say. I just know that I'm glad she took it down. And hopefully she'll reconsider how she's going to describe stomach massage in the future without insulting the Black colleagues around the world. Here I am in Germany, and I'm reading something from a woman in the States. Like, whoa. And anyway.
Yeah.
So it was quite.
It was like the using of that phrase for shock value. Like it's a slick marketing thing to draw eyes to your comments, and you're like, you realize how insensitive that was in that moment. And then like back to my topic, like it's the response.
She didn't give a shit, excuse my language. You know what I mean? Like, she really did not care. I saw no sign of caring whatsoever. And yeah, it's like, okay, well, you can have your opinion. It is indeed your page. But when your colleagues speak out and say, hey, it might be good to listen to that,
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if I wrote, I was telling another colleague of mine, saying she's also a New Yorker here teaching in Berlin, and a Black person. And I said, imagine if we said, white cracker foot extension. You know what I mean? Think of a white ballerina,
just some
cracker
derogatory
girl, or something stupid like that. Imagine. Right. People would be down our throats within seconds, and all hell would break loose. But in any case, I'm just glad she took it down. Yeah, but I think this is kind of an everyday, monthly occurrence. I had to cut ties with a colleague here in Berlin for a similar occurrence. Like she I don't know if I need to tell this whole story, but basically she left a key for me somewhere and described me as a mulatto. And the woman who was giving me the key to get into her studio said, this woman used a word to describe you that I found offensive. And this was an ally, a white woman. And I said, well, what was it? What could it be? And she said, yeah, she called you a mulatto. And I said, really? That's odd. Why would she do that? Just say Meryl's picking up the key. Why? Yes. Mulatto woman is coming to get the key. Yeah, and I discussed this with her afterward, and I said, you really should be careful how you describe women of color. I am not a mulatto. I am Meryl. And she just went into her white fragility and she's like, I mean, we think of people who are mixed as something so beautiful. And I said, exoticism, racism. It was just like a whole explosion. that
Yes.
And I thought, okay, you know what? I suggest that if you're going to be an ally, maybe you should do a workshop, because it's not really, I don't, I don't want to mince words, but you really don't understand what I mean when I say white fragility. It's not that you are a fragile person. It means you're negating my experience as a Black person and putting yourself in instead.
Yes.
You know,
As the
short,
victim.
abbreviated description. But she wasn't happy. She's like, oh yeah, I'm so busy and blah, 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 blah. And I said, yeah, that's a nice privilege to just be so busy. You don't have to deal with it. I'm good. Then great. Maybe someday you'll change your mind.
Wow.
We need allies. And then I just cut her off. I mean,
Yeah.
with someone like that, it's like, I'm not going to work with her anymore. No, I can't. On principle.
There's
Wow.
yeah, and my wife just showed up in the chat. She knows that when it comes to principle, I am like, it's about the principle. And in those situations, had she responded differently, then that's a continuation of your working relationship.
Exactly. And it's a pity, but I stand with, no, I can't do that. I just can't. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, those are the dynamics in our community, right? So maybe it's utopian to think that we can all get along, but I think that like there's a sense of all of us getting along doesn't mean there's not going to be any conflict. I think that we need to be brave enough to work through conflict, be brave enough to face those uncomfortable conversations.
Yes.
And take ownership of our part that we play.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I'm out here doing these conversations like 5 days a week. I could say the wrong thing. I could accuse someone of saying, I've been corrected for using, whatever, or saying a word, or people have messaged me afterwards. Like, I'm not saying I'm perfect in standing, in those responses, but I think that we need to be just committed to getting better every day, every one of us.
Yes. Yeah, so true. Yeah, it's we can only all get better from listening to one another, from whichever standpoint we're coming from, and it depends so much on the situation. And
yes,
but yeah, it's been quite kind of disappointing, but it's like, well, got to keep going. That's
yeah,
that. Check.
yeah, check.
Just let it go. You're doing this for a completely fantastic reason, and there are people who are definitely, able and willing to learn and listen.
Yep.
And when they don't, okay. Also, like, well, all right then.
Absolutely. Surround yourself
Bye
with
bye.
people who are like-minded. Exactly.
Yeah.
You can unfollow, you can block them out, you can mute their stories. You don't have to feed yourself that. You don't have to pick every fight. Surround yourself with people who are of like mind, who are also trying to be better.
Yeah.
And go from there.
Yeah. True.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's been a treat having two Germany people in the house this morning.
Yeah, I gotta meet John Claude someday.
Oh, you guys haven't? Okay, so how's that for ignorance, right there? It's like, oh, you're both in Germany. I figure you guys hang out all the time.
Oh no, I'm in the east and he's way in the south. Like,
I had someone do it to me too. Actually, funny. They were like coming from the UK and like, oh, I'm coming to Canada. I want to, I will be in BC. I'd love to visit you. I'm like, I'm in Toronto. That's like you are actually closer to me right now than if you're in,
Yeah.
so.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. I used to go to Munich, but I haven't been there in years. It's like, so, but yeah,
Yeah.
Canada's
So
huge.
we're,
Germany is also quite a big country. So, yeah.
yeah. We'll do our Germany. Alex and I are coming on our Germany tour one day, one year.
Yes, do it, do it. That would be great.
Oh man, that'd be so good.
I need to come to Canada too. So, it'll
Yeah,
one day.
one day. Nice, Meryl. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming on. I
Yeah.
appreciate you and just like, um, are you still doing online classes? People, I did an online class with Meryl. Super fun. If you get a chance, if you still doing it, here's your plug. Sign
Oh,
up, do virtual class further if you have any, if you even have any right now. But fantastic.
oh yes. 2 weeks. All right. I'm gonna write you. Awesome.
There you go.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come to Germany. But I haven't done online classes in a while, but
Okay.
I can. We can anytime. I would like to do that with a whole bunch of you and Joel and,
Yeah,
other
Joe and
Sandy, a whole bunch of people. But
I. Yep.
we're busy.
Yeah, I know it's good. I mean, I definitely need to take that time for ourselves, right? So,
Yeah, we do. So important. Yeah.
yeah, very good.
Okay, Martin, thanks a
All
lot.
right.
Take
Thank you so
care.
much. All right.
Till the next time.
Yes. Take care.
Bye.
All right. Done. There you go, John Claude. So, if your coffee meetup for the next couple of weeks there. Hey, Missy, how's it going? Great. Um, I don't have anything else to say. I got what was on my chest off my chest. I thank you for your patience, Meryl. Thank you for coming on and just sharing from your perspective. So many things are happening, and as my wife says, like there's one thing to be ignorant, it's another thing to be ignorant of your ignorance. So can we always keep moving towards understanding with one another as we're moving and growing? And it's quite clear that we all have a very similar point of passion in this work, connecting one another, helping our immediate people, and helping this global plies community. So let's keep growing. Let's keep trying to be better every day. Jean-Claude, much love. Thank you for jumping on. And to Meryl as well, my friends in Germany. So looking forward to connecting with you guys in real life for real hugs and real workouts. So we'll make that happen. And to the rest of you party people, we are not doing a core conversations tomorrow. I have some family stuff to attend to right in the same window. So unless you want to have a conversation with me while I'm driving to Kitchener, it's not going to happen. And then we're back at it with Misty Lynn Cawthon as my co-host on Wednesday. Nice. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And we are back at it later this week. Have a great day. And we are out.